right. Now we're live. All right, what is up, YouTube? This is Krishan. Welcome. I'm doing a live chat, and what we have here, we have a special guest. He is amazing. He's actually one of my most favorite YouTubers to watch. Honestly, developer, vloggers on YouTube. He's probably the only one that does it too, other than me. His name is Aaron. In beta.
Yep.
But yeah, everyone say hello. And Aaron, hey, what's up, new scientists? You're always the first one to leave a comment. Anyway, Aaron, if you could go ahead and introduce yourself and what your channel is all about, I would really love my subscribers to get to know you more because you're someone that I love to watch. You're someone that I like. I honestly watch your videos from beginning to end, and I don't see that from many vloggers other than Christian Blues Mommy Gary Vaynerchuk. So if you could go ahead and introduce yourself, man, let everyone know who you are.
Hi guys, I'm Aaron from Aaron and Beta, like Chris said, and he's being way too kind about my channel. But I started it about the same time Chris started his channel. I had just finished up a dev bootcamp and I was looking for my first job. And I thought, hey, there's not a lot of content out there for people who are brand new in this. Every developer video that I see is way over my head. So I said, let's try to do something about that. So I do a lot of the same stuff that like Chris does, where I talk about what it's like, how I got to where I am, where I want to go in the near future and in the long term, and that's the channel.
Nice. Well, you know what? Since you mentioned that, we went to a boot camp.
Yeah.
How long was your boot camp for?
It was 12 weeks.
12 weeks?
Yep.
So like, was it like, did you have to like quit your job and you had to go full time into that? Did you do it?
Yeah, it was like they say it's 40 hours a week, but I probably spent 60 to 80 hours a week like learning how to code. So quit the job. Yeah, it was a full-time job plus some.
Wow. So 60 hours a week.
Yeah, like
were you working at the same?
I wasn't working. No, I had quit the job, everything. So.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a big commitment.
That is pretty scary because even for me, when I quit my job because I got hired as a dev, that alone was scary because the thought of, oh man, what if that company doesn't like me? I have no experience, no one taught me. I taught myself coding and everything. So what was it that pushed you to make that first step into getting, a job as a developer, to get you like to take that first step into bootcamp and leaving your company?
I think for me, like I had a couple of ideas for things that I wanted to build and no idea how to do it. So I like did some research online and found out the quickest way to kind of jumpstart is to either learn on yourself, just online, or go to a boot camp. And I tried to like mess around online to learn, and it just wasn't working for me. Like I'm the type of person where I almost need somebody to be forceful with me to like to like try to start something. So I need like a teacher or like a parental figure to like start something. So the boot camp was just the right kind of move, and figured out a way to do it financially and jumped in head first. Yeah.
Nice. So would you say, with your job right now, does it pay your is it easier to pay off your loans or whatever you took to go to boot camp? Would you say it was worth it?
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, to be like, I'm always completely open on my channel about everything, but like I paid $12,000 to go to the boot camp, and I'm making about 18 grand more a year at my new job than I did before I went to the boot camp. So the math adds up to where I can pay the loan off in a year and not catch too much interest and be in a better spot financially and like mentally than I was before I started.
Wow, that's cool, man. Well, actually, a new scientist had a question. He was asking, did you have any coding interviews? How did that go when you tried to get a job after boot camp, and how long did it take you to get a job?
Yeah. So it took me 1 month to the day to get the offer that for the job I have now. Yeah. So, and then I ended up with one offer before that, but the money wasn't as good, so I didn't take that. But past that, coding interviews, yeah, I had some whiteboarding, not a ton of whiteboarding. It was simple stuff, not FizzBuzz, but like if you wanted to if you got some information from an API and you wanted to show it on the page, how would you do it type of stuff. And so, yeah, that was probably the most technical question I got. One of my interviews, I talked about Blink-182 and dogs like the entire time. I don't know. Yeah, it's every interview is different. Like it's so hit or miss. I had a coding interview over like the internet, like it was like a Google Doc almost, and I had to code in front of a guy who was on the other side, like on a computer somewhere else. Like in that, you want to talk about a weird situation? Try coding in front of someone
Yeah.
who you can't see, who you can only hear over the
Mhm.
phone. Yeah.
Oh, that's intense. I never had to go through a coding interview.
Oh yeah, that's
Well,
nice.
to get hired. I mean, I've went through some actually after getting hired because I applied to other companies just to see my value. I don't have
Yeah.
any intentions of leaving my company, but just to see my value out there. And I'll tell you this, I did bad in the coding interviews.
I
It's
mean,
terrifying.
just it like the thing that I don't like about whiteboard interviews are they don't tell you whether I can code or not.
Yeah,
Because when I'm coding, I have Google and I have resources. I don't have them when I
that's very
whiteboard.
true.
So if I
Yeah.
can solve a problem, it doesn't matter whether I need to look it up on Google to figure out the string method I need. That's
Hmm.
that's my idea about, whiteboarding.
I agree, totally. And really, all you need to even just become a good programmer too is Google. I mean, I use
Yeah.
Google. I don't use it as much anymore because I'm pretty comfortable in the front end aspect. But whenever I work with JavaScript or even jQuery or any frameworks, I mean, I feel like Google is the only way to go. And just because you use Google doesn't mean you're a bad developer. The fact that you
No.
use Google shows you're humble enough to know that you need help.
Yeah. Yeah. The hardest thing to learn about development isn't like the every like little piece of syntax you need to know. The hardest thing to make
Yeah,
you like a good developer is knowing what question to ask Google to find the right answer.
that is it. It's how to search for it. That's the most
Yeah.
important part is how to look for. I didn't even understand like functions and loops and functions within functions and
Yeah,
global variables and then variables within that function. And yeah, it's just you have to learn how to search those things. That's important. Okay,
for
thanks,
sure.
man. Yeah.
For sure.
Well, we have some people on here asking more questions. I'm sure you can probably see some of them on your side too.
Yeah.
Uh, well, what text editor do you use? I use Atom. Atom's
I
very
use I use Atom too. Like Sublime is great, but I don't want
oh
to pay
shoot.
for it. I don't want to pay for
Yeah,
it, and it's gonna pop up every 5 seconds telling me I need to pay for it.
it's
So I use
annoying,
Atom.
right? You have to pay
Yeah,
$70 or so. Do you use a Mac or do you use Windows?
I use Mac. Yeah,
Man, we are best friends already.
all Apple everything. I promise.
Oh, okay. I can't show you my phone, but I'm
Yeah,
using an
yeah,
iPhone 7.
yeah.
I'm waiting for iPhone 8 or whatever it's called to come out, so I'm ready. I'm excited. Um, is it hard to hear me? Some people are saying it's hard to hear me.
I can hear you just fine, but you did have a moment where you kind of lagged out like a couple seconds ago.
Okay. Yeah, sorry about that, guys. It might be hard to hear me. Another text editor I want to use eventually is called Coda. I'm
Okay.
not sure if you heard of them. Coda is
Uh-uh.
it's made for Macs only. And it makes coding much easier. And they even have a feature on there where it helps you find bugs within your code. Maybe you
Okay.
forgot to use a semicolon. Maybe you forgot to put, you know, a closing bracket or opening bracket, and it searches for all that for you whenever you push a page live. And it's perfect. It's perfect.
That's pretty
Perfect,
awesome.
man. Yeah, yeah. Okay. Other questions before we go into hardships? Uh, a
Somebody
new
uses Sublime
scientist.
Text.
Yeah, Sublime Text. Actually, I like Sublime Text, but Atom is just so much more appealing to the eye.
I
I
agree.
just feel like I like that,
Yeah.
and I like that combo thing. Some people don't like it. I like that combo generator. Um, but okay. Another question from new scientists. He asked, "What is a good approach to job hunting for the relevant roles, especially in a tough market?" Oh, that's a good question.
That's a good question. So I think if you're job hunting in a tough market, like I'm really lucky. I live in an amazing
What?
market. Like
Where do you live?
people,
What state? What city?
uh, Raleigh, Durham, like North Carolina. So
Oh, yeah, yeah,
it's really good here. Like IBM is here, Lenovo is here, Red Hat is here,
yeah.
and those are just the big companies. There's 1,000 startups. Um, but as far as like my general approach to job hunting is you've got two options. Either if you haven't learned everything you already needed to learn to get a job, tailor what you learn to the jobs that are open in your area. And if you have already got the skills that you think you need to get a job, then you need to specifically like try to like make yourself appealing to these people. And you do that by telling them why their company is awesome in your cover letter,
Yeah.
what excites you about their company in your cover letter, and like appeal to them, and then ask them if you can do anything to show that you're good enough to be whatever role it is they want.
I agree. I totally agree. I mean, honestly, it's just in general, it's really difficult to even get a job in this industry. And
Yeah.
so what I think is just you just have to keep applying. There's someone who I actually spoke with a couple months ago, and he told me he's been applying to get jobs for 6 months. And he's actually even better than me, and he hasn't got anyone to even interview him. But just last week alone, he got the interview, and they even said, "We want to hire you. This isn't an official offer. We still have to speak to management, but now we want to hire you." And you have to understand, this guy I believe he's around 40 years old, almost 40.
Oh yeah.
A lot of experience, but no one wanted to hire him for 6 months. And so what I told him is, hey, you have a lot of skill, and all you have to do is just keep applying. It's okay if you get rejected. Getting rejections are normal. So to keep applying over and over and over again,
Yeah.
you eventually get the hire, and now someone wants to hire him.
Yeah, for sure.
I believe his name is Michael, or David Michaels. Sounds like a wrestler. Yeah. Well, how did you find a job, by the way? Did you just apply on Google, or did your boot camp help you get jobs?
So this is also like one of those, I'm lucky in this sense, is that the boot camp that I went to had already had like 7 cohorts before me, and they were pretty well known in the area, and they produced good students. So there's some like knowledge of that. So it got me a couple of interviews, but I also applied. I applied to 40 places because you just have to throw stuff at the wall and see what sticks. But yeah, I mean, I think the fact that I went to the boot camp and they knew what kind of boot camp it was helped. But also, like, I have a writing background. I have a creative writing degree. I wrote a really funny and interesting cover letter about why I thought the company that I was going to work for is awesome. And they mentioned that in my first interview. They were like, "Man, like, you're a little too junior for this role, but like your cover letter was pretty funny." And I was like, "Sweet." And then I ended up acing the interview and like getting the job. So
that's cool, man. You know, you look like a creative writer.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you. It's the beard. It's definitely the beard.
As the beard? Yeah, I think so. Humana Gaming asks, are boot camps worth it? And honestly, I think it depends on everyone's situation. If you have the funds to do it, if you think that, if you're not disciplined enough to teach yourself, then definitely do it. But my question then is, why didn't you go the route of teaching yourself code?
Yeah. So the question was, are boot camps worth it? Gosh. Okay, so I will say this, and I have a video on my channel where I talk about it a lot too. I think it depends on which boot camp you're going to, what market you're in, and whether that boot camp is worth it in that area. Like I said, the place where I went has put developers in a lot of companies that I would like to work for. So it was worth it for me. If you're going to a boot camp in Boise, Idaho, and there's like 2 tech jobs there a year, it might not be worth it. And I didn't learn on my own because I knew that I wanted to learn as quick as possible, get up and running as quick as possible. And I knew I would meander around at the like beginning stuff, not being able to do much because I'm the type of person that wants to see results.
Yeah.
So I kind of, and I didn't even know about Treehouse. That's the crazy thing. Like I wasn't a Treehouse person or a Udemy person.
Hold on.
Yeah.
You said you didn't know about Treehouse?
No.
All right, we got to end this call.
Let me tell you, when I first started looking into code, the only thing I knew about was Codecademy. I looked at it for like 2 weeks and was like, man, this is baloney. I'm going to go to a boot camp. So, yeah.
That's funny, man. That's pretty funny. Well, I mean, that's awesome, though. I mean, the fact that, I mean, it doesn't happen to a lot of people. And I think that is important. You do have to take into account where you live.
Yeah,
I mean,
for sure.
Is coding really that big in your area? Is it easier to get a job? If I was to do boot camp like here in LA, it'll be much easier to get a job. If I was to do it in San Francisco or New York, but let's say you live in, I don't know, Southern Tennessee. I don't know if it's popular there, but it would be pretty difficult to get a job. Cool, man. That's cool. But okay. Thank you for answering those questions. And what about you then? I have a question then. What is one of the, let's say, hardships as an aspiring or a new developer in this industry? What are the biggest hardships you faced as you just got into the industry a couple months ago?
Yeah, I would say, honestly, the biggest thing that I find, and it's not even really a negative, but it feels that way when you're in it, is that as a new developer, you aren't perfect at everything. Like you don't know everything that there is to know. And if you're working at a company with a lot of other developers, there are a lot of like really brilliant people around you all the time who have years of experience. And sometimes you can kind of feel like you're the dumbest person in the room, or like you don't belong there. Or at least I do. And that's something that you just kind of have to get over. Like you got to think about, like, I may not be the best person at JavaScript in this room, and I may not know Rails like this guy does, but you're in that room for a reason because those guys thought you were good enough to be there. So
that's true. I mean, I totally agree. I mean, I always feel like not as much anymore, but when I first joined the company, I think what I thought about every single day after work and even in the morning was, oh man, are they gonna let me go? Because I always feel so inferior to everyone else. Everyone has so much more experience. Everyone's so much better, but they took me in for a reason. You know, like I say in all my videos all the time, they should have fired me within the first couple of weeks because I was so bad at coding, but they kept me for a reason. And so that is terrifying. There were some nights that it was actually hard for me to sleep because I kept thinking that they might let me go and that they might, fire me.
Yeah.
So
I will say,
cool.
I don't know. I don't know what your background was before you got into code, but like me, I worked in retail jobs and I worked in like food and beverage and stuff like that. And coding is the first job that I've ever had where if I don't get my job done, it's because I wasn't good enough to do it. And that's something that's like super empowering because like it's you and it's all you, but it's also can be scary too at first.
Well, definitely.
For sure.
That is very true. I mean, I agree. It's a scary scary field to get into at first.
Yeah.
Okay, I agree though. That is one of the hardest things. I think for me in general is that you don't always remember everything you learn.
Yeah.
I tend to always like I'll make something look really well, and then I forgot how to do it. I have to keep going back to my old code and how to do something. And it's coding isn't something that you just always remember, but it's something you always have to keep learning, like literally your entire career. You don't stop learning.
Yeah.
The moment you stop learning, then what happens? Someone else will take your spot.
Yeah.
It's a very competitive industry. So cool,
it's
man.
True.
What about as you're going through boot camp? What do you think was the hardest things you faced while you were in boot camp?
Honestly, I would say like the boot camp part, the hardest part was just the hours. Like I didn't have a social life for 12 weeks. I mean, every Saturday and every Sunday I was on campus like doing work. My wife barely saw me. Like I would be going in at 9 a.m. on Saturday and she'd be like, "You're going in again?" And yeah, I had to. It's just a lot of time you spend doing it. So
definitely. No, that's cool, man. I mean, I agree. It is something that does take a lot of time. I think we were talking about it earlier, and I could honestly say if it wasn't for YouTube, I'd be much better at programming because of the amount of hours. I put about over 25 hours a week into this channel, and that's a lot of time. I mean, 25 hours a week just on learning code makes such a big difference in your career in general. So, but let's see. Is there anything else you want to say about that before we go to more questions?
Oh no, let's take some questions. Let's do it.
Okay. People are asking what boot camp you went to. From Kaya Jones, what boot camp did you go to?
So I went to the Iron Yard, and they have a lot of campuses, but I went to the Durham campus.
Iron Yard.
Yeah.
Okay. Were the teachers pretty like? What did you experience as you were in there? Like, what made that boot camp special compared to you could say maybe other ones?
What I would say is that like the people who were there when I like went in for information were super engaging. They didn't shy away from the negative aspects of the boot camp, which made me feel more comfortable.
Yeah.
And like they have a good reputation in Durham. Like they let me talk to some alumni who were working in the area, and like one of the guys I talked to, like half of the development team at the startup he works for are all Iron Yard grads. So yeah.
Okay, that's cool. Yeah, I think I was about like a week away from signing up to a boot camp. Then I heard about Treehouse, and then I taught myself code that way. So thanks for sharing that. Let's see other questions. This is from Sean Parkin. Sean Parkin, he asked, for someone who is new to web development, is it possible to start in the back end instead of going to the front end? What's your opinion on that? Is it okay if someone starts back end instead of going front end first?
Yeah, I mean, I would say like if you're going to learn, like if you want to learn Ruby and there are Ruby jobs and Rails jobs in your area, then learn Ruby and Rails. If you want to learn Python and there are Python jobs in your area, learn Python. Don't like force yourself to take a job where you have to do CSS if you hate CSS, because some people hate CSS.
Yeah, I agree. I hate CSS. I think CSS was harder for me to learn than JavaScript.
Oh, really? That's funny.
But yeah, it was a pain. It took me 3 months to be comfortable with CSS.
Yeah.
JavaScript took about a while.
Yeah. I went into learning like code thinking I would love HTML and CSS, like making stuff pretty, and came out of it knowing
Yeah.
that I loved JavaScript more because it just like it works different muscles in your brain and you have to like think about things in a different way. So
Yeah, it's fun. I love JavaScript. I love jQuery, man. It's the best. It's
yeah.
the best.
Now, do you use
Okay,
any
another question. Oh, sorry, keep going. Sorry.
do you use any frameworks at work or?
Yeah, we work with jQuery. That's pretty much the only front end framework. Believe we,
Yeah.
yeah, it's the only front end framework we use. Everything else is just hard coded, and I like that because that's a strong foundation for me to build. If ever in
For
the
sure.
far future I join another company.
Mhm.
What about you? What frameworks do you work with?
So we use React at work for the app, like the app side of what we do. So I don't work. Like you work at a
Yeah.
place where you make like websites, right?
Uh,
Yeah.
oh well,
So
I work for a processing company, so I make like e-commerce pages, payment
gotcha.
pages, registration pages.
That makes sense. So like I work like my job is I'm the web developer, so I make the web page for our company, and then our company makes
Mhm.
a web app that is a software as a service platform. So like the app is built
Okay,
in React and like Rails. So
nice.
yeah.
So why did your company choose to work with React? Why not maybe Angular?
So Angular, everything was written in Angular 1, and then Angular 1
Oh wow.
got deprecated.
Yeah.
And React works better with what we do at work because our web app is based on like a text editor essentially, and React has one called Draft, which was built by Facebook, which is really nice and plays really well with the browser. And it just kind of
Yeah.
made sense for them.
Makes sense. I think it depends on every company. Every company is very different.
For sure.
It depends on it depends on the needs of the company. For us, our life is PHP. PHP every day,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
our backend is so intense. And I know that when I start getting more deep into PHP at my company, coming out of my company, and like years from now, I'll be one of the better known PHP developers out there because of how intense and how complicated our backend system is.
Yeah.
Thing is that my senior developer at my company, he's only I believe 23 years old,
Oh wow.
and he built the entire framework for a company that does maybe hundreds of billions actually worth of transactions every single year.
That's
A
crazy.
self-taught 23-year-old did that. He's been teaching himself code since he's 16, and I'm actually
Yeah.
going to be interviewing him soon too. He's in channel. But cool,
That's
cool.
crazy.
Here's another question from New Scientist. Man, he's asking a lot of questions. He said, should I do a master's in web development and machine learning, or will job experience be more valuable? So should he get a
Um,
master's in web development or machine learning, or is experience more valuable?
so I know Chris is a big fan of Gary Vee, and I'm going to give you the Gary Vee answer here. If you want to do for yourself, like if you want to be your own person and you want to empower yourself, you don't need a piece of paper telling you you're good enough. Um, if you want to be in web development and you want to be in development in general and you want to make awesome stuff, you don't need a master's degree to do that. I don't have a degree at all in it. Chris doesn't have a degree at all in it, and like we figured out a way to do it. So
You have a degree.
I mean, I have a degree, but not in computer science. So yeah,
Yeah. I agree completely. I think a degree can be valuable in regards to getting a job because a degree shows you that you are valuable. A degree shows that you put in
yeah,
the thousands of hours of effort to become good at what you're doing. But I totally agree. I mean, a degree isn't mandatory. At literally every company I got an interview at after beginning my job, all of them said we don't care about degrees. Degrees mean
yeah.
nothing. I mean, they help, but it's not important
What
here. Cool.
what a degree
Huh?
does for you more than anything else is it gets your foot in the door in the same way that like your resume or your cover letter does. Because once you get an interview, if you don't know how to code, you don't know how to code, whether you have a master's saying you do or not. So
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I totally agree. Cool, man. Thank you. All right, here's another one from Nicholas Blues. Nicholas Blues is asking, hey, Chris and Aaron, I'm self-taught, and I want to ask you guys, is it okay if I build my own apps, my portfolio, or should I include only real jobs?
No, I think you should absolutely like if you make awesome stuff and it works, put that on your portfolio. That's all my portfolio was before I got a job because I didn't have any real jobs. So
Yeah, from boot camp.
like I had boot camp apps that we made, and like my final project was like the crown jewel of my portfolio. So absolutely.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, I think both. I mean, I think even just apps that you create on your own are more valuable than what you do at a company,
Yeah.
because that alone it shows that you take your own personal time on the side
Hmm.
code to create something on your own. That's amazing because anyone can show a portfolio you made from work, but
Hmm.
doing something in your own time where no one can help you, you literally have to build it all on your own. That's itself shows that
Yeah.
you can be valuable.
And like to that point too, if you're building it on your own, I'm assuming you have some sort of passion about it. And then if they ask about
Mm-hmm.
it in the interview or they want to talk about something you've built, you've got like a fire when you talk about it, as opposed to like the thing you did for a job for the past however many years.
Exactly. Exactly. I totally agree.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I think it's hard to make those things because that alone takes so much self-discipline. So I
Hmm.
mean, I totally agree. Let's see what else. Here you go. No one ever taught me what to put on my resume
Yeah.
as a programmer. So, this question's for you. What are the best things to put on a resume if you have
Yeah.
no experience in the web dev field?
So what I did, and this is kind of kitschy, I don't know, but it worked. So at the top, I listed all of the skills and technologies I knew. So that was HTML, CSS, JavaScript, Angular, jQuery, GitHub, all of that stuff, right? And
Uh,
then underneath it, my like most recent like experience was the
yeah.
last app that I had built, which was the app that I built for the Iron Yard. But I made it look like it was a job. I said
Mhm.
from 2016 to 2016, I was the lead
That's
developer
smart.
on Watch Party, which was the app that I built. And I listed all the technologies I used and all of that stuff because to
That's
me it was a
funny.
job. I just didn't get paid for it.
Yeah.
So that's
You
that's
paid
what
to
I
do
did.
it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, exactly.
That's a good idea. And I think that's something that a lot of people don't realize that they can do is, you should be true in your resume. That's
Yeah,
that's simple, but it's okay to tweak things a little bit, change the titles or something else, make it
yeah.
sound as best as you can. What I did is I went on to Indeed.com,
Hmm.
and when I went on to Indeed.com, I searched resumes for front end developers, junior front end developers, and I saw what they put on their resume, and I would just imitate what they did because it sounds much better than the way I can put it. So
Yeah.
that's what I did. Let's see. Another question from Sean Parkin. Sean Parkin. He asked if you read a book that has you create a website or app, should you include these in your portfolio?
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see why not. Like, if it works, it works. And I'm assuming there probably aren't, 150 candidates applying for the same job with the same app. But even if they do, like, maybe yours is better. Or maybe you can explain it better why you built it that way.
Yeah. Exactly. I
Yeah.
mean, it's okay to do that, but you know what? Don't. What I would do is I'll include that into my resume, but I wouldn't tell them that I got that idea from a book.
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't have to tell them that. Don't be that honest. It's
Yeah.
okay to you don't have to be that honest. I didn't tell my CEO that I learned how to make my website from a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
literally copied my website from someone who was teaching me how to build a website in Bootstrap, and I built this 2 days before I got the interview. And
That's awesome.
I just built it overnight. Told them I made it, and that's what got me the job.
Yeah.
So you don't need to be that truthful. It's okay to do stuff like that.
Yeah.
But okay.
There's a concept
Yeah.
if you want to get into the industry and be self-taught or go to a boot camp and you don't have that traditional like CS degree background, you've got to get in the mindset of being a hustler. Like, because that's what you're doing. You're not lying to
I like
people, you're
that
not
word.
ripping them off, but you're gonna hustle until you get to where you need to go.
Exactly. Exactly. I
So
mean, that's what's important. You have to show them that you're willing to work harder than everyone else.
exactly.
I love it when new developers come into our company because they're so hungry to prove themselves. They're so
Yeah.
hungry to learn that they tend to be more humble and they tend to work harder. And even sometimes the senior developers also.
Hmm.
So I think that's very important. Well, I guess one last question I want to ask you, and I think this is a question that a lot of people want to know. People have already known how learning code has changed my life because I share it on my vlogs.
Yeah.
I mean, I
Yeah.
buy new things like almost every day. All these new
Yeah.
things. My new MacBook right here.
I like it.
So how has coding changed your life? What's the biggest change, and how's it what's the biggest change that coding has made in your life, and how has it changed your life pretty much?
So I would say the biggest change that I've had in my time since I started is number one, I go to work every day and I feel like I'm doing important work. And I feel like I have something that I can be proud of when I leave the office every day. Not every day is super easy. There are frustrating days, but it's like fulfilling to be able to make stuff. And that's how my mind works. And then two, like just the level of my life is like at a new level. Like before I was working odd hours, I was seeing my wife less than I wanted to. Now I've taken I can
Wait, you're married?
I'm married. I'm married.
All right, sorry, ladies. He's taken.
Sorry.
Okay, sorry. You keep going.
um but yeah, like it's just I can take time off when I need to take time off. I can work from home when I need to work from home. If I need to go get my oil changed at noon on a Wednesday, I can go get my oil changed. It's like it seems like the tech industry overall just understands that you're a human being more than like other industries that I've been a part of.
In a workshop, sweatshop.
Yeah, exactly. Like I come from humble beginnings. Like we didn't have a lot growing up. And my parents worked their butt off. They worked their butt off a lot for a lot of time for little gain.
Yeah.
And to see that there's like you're able to have this lifestyle without, being born into it or something is just mind blowing to me.
Yeah. And your boot camp was how long? 12 weeks, right? 12 weeks.
12 weeks, yeah.
And it took you about 4 weeks to get a job.
Mm-hmm.
So in the
And
span
then,
of 4 months, your life
yeah,
went from here to like
to,
way up over here.
yeah, exactly. Which is crazy to think about. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Imagine if you didn't take that leap of faith to go into
Yeah.
code. What would you say your life would be right now?
I mean, yeah, I'd be stuck in the same rut that I was, a year ago, which is not a good thing. And there's no better, the thing is, like, a lot of people want to wait until the right time, or like they need to make free time to like learn how to code. There's no better time than right now. And if you have to wait until you can make free time to learn how to code, you're never going to make that free time, because you could make it right now if you needed to too.
I completely agree, man.
Yeah.
A lot of people, I had a friend who was saying, you know what, I'm too busy right now. I'm going to wait to learn code later. And this is when I was learning code.
Yeah.
A year ago. I was like, dude, learn code with me, man. And like, watch this video. It could change your life. He says, no, I have no time right now. And this guy was making more money than me, and then I went into it. I started code like crazy for 3 months, and now I'm here. I get paid, you could say, my salary went up by $15,000 than what it previously was. I'm about to get another really big raise. And so you just don't wait. Because now that friend, that person got laid off. He doesn't work at that company anymore. He's literally just home all day, and he's just hoping to get a job.
Yeah.
If he put in that couple months to learn code, he could have got a job at my company.
Yeah.
So don't wait. I totally agree. And I think for me too, the way my life has changed is just having that freedom.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, your bosses at times, when there's something that needs to be done right away, they'll push you really hard to get something done.
Mm-hmm.
But I can call in sick and I'm not worried I'll get in trouble.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
I called in sick on one Thursday and I said, sorry, I don't feel good. And the reason is because I thought I had cancer. I don't, but I was so worried the whole day. I just told them I was sick, and no one got mad at me.
Yeah.
I asked them, hey, I'm gonna go to Vegas because my dad had a heart attack. Is it okay if I work from home there? Totally fine. I worked from home on that day.
Yeah.
And so you have so much freedom. You feel like your own man. You feel like an adult for once. You feel like you actually get to live your life, and that's something that you don't really get to live in many other different fields unless you are your own business owner.
Yeah.
And so I think it's the best feeling in the world. I can't explain how I feel. It's amazing.
It really
so
is.
Much freedom. That's great, man.
Getting treated like an adult for your job is a great feeling, for sure.
Like you're needed. You're getting treated like you're actually needed at the company. And we are. I mean, every industry needs developers now. Every business needs developers. Even if you're in a bakery and you're trying to expand, you need a developer.
Yeah, exactly.
It's necessary to really surviving in this world today. So, wow. But yeah, man. Not many other questions. If there's anything else, let's see. Yeah, I don't think there's any more other questions.
Yeah.
Last words you want to share with everyone before we end it here?
And I mean, I would just say, like, if you're thinking about getting into it or you're in the middle of getting into it, just push yourself a little bit harder so you can get a little bit closer, because it's worth it. And if you haven't checked out my channel, obviously you should check out my channel. It's Aaron and Beta, but I have to plug myself.
Yes, check out his channel, guys. Seriously, check out his channel. I really watch all of his videos. I comment on almost all of them. So
Yeah,
yeah, definitely check him out. I'll put the. I don't have it in the description yet. For those who are watching this video after it's live, check him out. I'll put the link in the description below. It's Aaron, in beta. He's actually very intelligent. He's very fun to watch. So, yeah.
yeah,
Other than that, guys, just keep persevering, keep hustling. Just like my brother said, just keep hustling. And you never know when to get that first opportunity.
that's true.
Your life, his life was changed in a matter of 4 months. Mine was in 3, so I
Yeah.
still win. But I still win, man. Okay.
True.
So I mean, but you still have to be wise of your situation. If you can't afford to quit your job and go to boot camp, don't do that.
Yeah,
You just have to find a way to learn code on the side while you're working.
yeah.
So
Lose an hour of
what
sleep
happened
at
to
night
you?
if you have to.
Yeah, I mean, really, if you have to sacrifice some sleep for a
Mm-hmm.
couple months, and it's totally worth it. So, all right. If there's no other questions, let's see. You know what? Hey, Jalokin, he's giving us a shout out, and since you're watching, he said that you're one of the. Is there anything you want to say to him?
What's up, man? So I have never seen you in my comments, which makes me really sad. Maybe say hi the next time. But I'm glad you like both of us. I was wondering if there would be any crossover people. It's good to see you here, my man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, if you guys have it, man, leave comments. Comments are honestly like the biggest. Like, comments is what keeps us going to put more videos out.
For
People
sure.
don't understand. I literally, I get about 70 comments a day now on my notifications,
Yeah.
and I read it. I read every single one of them. I might not be able to respond to all of them, but if you guys can, keep leaving comments. We love it. It pushes us, encourages us, and it helps us put out more videos.
Yeah, for
So,
sure.
all right, guys. Thank you for watching. We're gonna go ahead here. Oh yeah, I didn't put his link to his YouTube yet.
Yeah.
8 at Echo Off, but I'll put it in the description right after this. But yeah, all right, guys. Thank you for watching our video. Check out Aaron if you haven't yet. This is Krishan. This is Lifeboat Developer, and we're both out.
Bye.